another beautiful day here in sunny Sarasota, and we're glad to have you with us. The Orioles at Ed Smith Stadium, after beating the Red Sox yesterday, today will play host to the Nationals. Yep, it's the Battle of the Beltway, spring training style. And it comes your way right here on Masson as the Orioles get ready for the 2012 season. It's the Orioles on Masson on a Chamber of Commerce afternoon in Sarasota, Florida. The Orioles welcome in the Washington Nationals. And hi, everybody. I'm Jim Hunter. Thanks for joining us. The days are dwindling here in spring training. Opening day, yes, is now less than 2 weeks away, but very important decisions still need to be made before the Orioles head north. Of course, the focus of this camp has been all about the pitching, but there are still some critical lineup decisions to be made. In particular, who will bat leadoff in the absence of Brian Roberts? Now, here in Florida, Buck Showalter has been liberal in the players he has utilized in that leadoff spot. And as you see, Andy Chavez has doubled with 10 leadoff spot assignments so far. Nolan Rymel is at 5. Ryan Flaherty, who is batting leadoff today, has batted in that spot twice. And Mike Bordick, as you project to the regular season, this is a critical spot in the lineup because Brian Roberts did it so effectively. What is Buck Showalter looking for the player who ultimately will bat first?
Well, he's in search of a leadoff hitter. All spring he's been looking for that guy. Last year they had 7 different leadoff hitters. J.J. Hardy leading the way with 64 appearances from the leadoff spot. But I was talking to Brady Anderson earlier. He's one of the great Oriole leadoff hitters of all time. And he said the prototypical leadoff hitter nowadays is a guy that has the power threat, a guy that could potentially hit a home run or hit doubles, and that's the way he gets pitched to and potentially draws more walks and increases his on-base percentage.
Yeah, and of those players on that chart, who has that in his repertoire? Maybe Nolan Rymel. So today here from Sarasota, the Nationals and the O's. Springtime baseball on a Saturday afternoon. Lineups and first pitch are coming up.
Friend, she told me to call U.S. Tax Shield.
The people at U.S. Tax Shield really care.
U.S. Tax Shield even reduced my tax debt.
And they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
What a relief. Our tax problems are now behind us.
Owe $15,000 or more to the IRS or state? Call U.S. Tax Shield at 1-800-289-1668 right now.
Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Sarasota. Go beyond the stadium. Visit Sarasota on Florida's Gulf Coast at number1beach.com. Yes, it is, in fact, the number 1 beach. There's a sign at Siesta Key that tells you that. On this beautiful day, and a beautiful day for a ball game. A lot of Oriole fans down from Baltimore vacationing in lovely Sarasota and checking out the O's. And a bonus today, they get the Nationals. And here's the Nats starting lineup: Ian Desmond, Danny Espinosa, and Rick Ankiel, with Chad Tracy in that cleanup spot. Then Wilson Ramos, the catcher, will bat fifth. Big-time season last year. He's an emerging star in the National League. Jesus Flores, Corey Brown, a minor leaguer in left. Then Brett Carroll and Steve Lombardozzi will be at third. And Jake Arrieta on the mound today for the Birds.
Yeah, Jake obviously has some plus stuff. He has a plus fastball, topping out at about 97, 98 miles an hour this spring. He has increased control and command, and we think a lot of that's due to surgery. Got some bone chips removed out of his elbow, and he's really been able to finish this delivery. He's a great athlete and obviously a great competitor.
So Arrieta on the mound after winning 10 games a year ago, and that's very impressive when you consider, Mike, that he did not pitch after July 31st because of that elbow. So it's tough to get to double digits of wins, and he did it in only 4 months.
Yeah, that was very impressive. I mean, he did get some great run support, but, you know, a tribute to him to go out and get that many wins that early in the season.
He'll go to work on Ian Desmond, who was the Nationals' regular shortstop, and the fastball misses high, and we're underway. Davey Johnson brought several regulars with him from Vieira. The ride took them about 2 hours and 45 minutes this morning to go from one coast to the other. And Arrieta misses ball 2. There's Davey, the longtime Oriole, former Orioles skipper, now in charge of the Nats. Broken bat, fly ball to left. Reimold has a beat. And Nolan has it for the out and one away on this breezy afternoon.
Well, defense today, we had Nolan Reimold in left field, Adam Jones in center, Ryan Flaherty over in right field, Mark Reynolds at third base, J.J. Hardy at short, Robert Andino at second base, Chris Davis at first, and Matt Wieters doing the catching.
And that could be, except possibly for Flaherty starting in right, an opening day lineup.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Here's Danny Espinosa. He's in the number 2 spot. One of the reasons Davey Johnson brought certain regulars on this trip is he needs to have Desmond and Espinosa starting to play more games together because they're the double play combination. So Espinosa, switch hitter up there from the left side. And he can't catch up to the pitch, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, they're going to need to be together out there, that young double play combination. They have some really good pitching this year, and they need guys up the middle, strong up the middle, to catch the ball behind them.
Espinosa, 8 hits on the spring. He does not have an extra base hit. He's fooled by that slow breaking ball, and it's 0-2. The Orioles pitching, and it has been the topic of the spring, there's no doubt about it, because of all the depth that Dan Duquette brought in for this camp. But the team has pitched to an ERA of 3.10 in the spring. Now, sometimes you have to factor in, well, there might be double-A hitters up there, but regardless, they're still making pitches.
You get that right. They're, limiting their walks, the opportunity for the other team to get on base.
Slice down the left field line, and that falls fair. That goes to the corner. Reimold will run it down. And Espinosa has his first extra base hit of the spring. He's at second with a 1-out double.
It's tough to have good pitching stats down here as well. In spring training, with the wind always blowing out, tough field conditions. This is a good bit of hitting right here. I mean, that's a tough fastball to hit, and he had a great approach on that and just went with it. I mean, to fight off that pitch and obviously get a double out of it is a great job by him.
Espinosa in scoring position with 1 down. Here's Rick Ankiel. And Arrieta misses outside. And Keel will get a lot of playing time in center field this year. Former pitcher and now outfielder. And the breaking ball down and in ball 2.
Yeah, if Jake Arrieta can stay around that, 95, 96 miles an hour and not try too hard. I mean, Jake, the only knock on Jake I can see is that he is such a fierce competitor. He tries so hard. Sometimes he tries too hard. And for a guy with his stuff, if he just toned it back a little bit and let his stuff just do the work, I think he'd find things would work out better for him when he gets in some jams.
The other part of pitching as Chad Tracy takes high. Tracy, a journeyman, playing first base today and batting cleanup. Trying to impress Davey Johnson. This is his 19th game in the spring. Wow. So he's that guy that's on all those road trips trying to show the skipper, hey, you might want to keep me as a backup.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if you're in that position and you're fighting for a job, I don't think he minds it.
The only way you can impress is if you're in there. And the fastball's high, ball 3. But one of the things that Arrieta has to work on, and he knows he has to work on, is his approach, in particular when he gets ahead in the count. As a minor league pitcher, you get to 0-2, 1-2, you can nibble because you'll get the hitters sometimes anxious and they'll chase. The difference at this level is they don't chase.
Right. Boy, you're exactly right. But he has such great stuff. I think, all spring, obviously, he's been working on just his delivery. But if he can improve his changeup a little bit, this guy could win games just with his fastball and his changeup. He has that kind of stuff.
So the 2-out walk will put runners on the corners, and here's Wilson Ramos, the catcher. And the fastball is a high strike. Generous call there, and it's 0-1. Ramos on the trip, probably because Edwin Jackson is pitching today, and he needs to learn the new pitcher that the Nationals picked up, signed him to a free agent contract. These final third of games heading to opening day are very, very important. Just missed down and in. The regulars will start to get more regular turns. You'll start to see more regulars making road trips. The first half of the games down here very rarely do the star regulars, if you will, get on the buses and go.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. This is the time of year. Matt Wieters, unfortunately, has had to catch a lot of guys this spring because
he doesn't know them.
They're new to the organization. So he's got to try to get familiar with a whole new pitching staff, basically.
2-1 on Ramos. And it misses inside, ball 3. Now, this is another area where the Orioles, to be more competitive, need to improve this year, and that's not allowing these 2-out runs. The 2-out runs just demoralize a team and certainly springboard your opponent. 2 on and 2 out. And a broken bat bloop, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So Ramos delivers. Here's Espinosa to score, and the Nats grab a 1-0 lead. Ramos' third RBI on the year. Arrieta made a good pitch. He broke the bat, but it fell in there for a base hit.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because, yesterday Hamill had made some great pitches as well and broke some bats and wasn't rewarded for it. And that was a really good pitch, 3-1 pitch, running in on that hitter and busted his bat and found a hole.
Arrieta will work to a 6th batter in this first inning. Jesus Flores, who is likely to be the backup catcher, he's getting some at-bats today as Davey Johnson taking advantage of the American League rules. Unlike what Charlie Manuel did the other day when the Phillies were here, Roy Halladay pitched that game and he decided not to use the DH because Halladay needed some at-bats. The National League rules, they need the bat, but Davey today wants Flores to get some at-bats.
Yeah, and he kept him in there for an extra at-bat as well. He was out of the game pitching, but he wanted him to get a bunt down. He did.
Arrieta gets ahead of Flores, 0-2. Late on the swing, and he fouls it away. Arrieta, in his 2 starts in 8 games, has pitched to an ERA of 7.71, and those numbers sometimes are distorted because when you only have 2 starts, you can have a brilliant start, which he did, and then give up some runs in the next one, which he did.
Sure, with
and the ERA gets inflated.
Yeah, limited innings. It's going to bounce around.
Pop foul, right field line. Davis over, hoping for a play, but that's back in the crowd. And Flores will have another crack at Arrieta. There you go, 25 pitches in the first inning so far for Arrieta. Espinosa got a 2-strike double. Ramos poked a blue pit to right field. And an 0-2 pitch coming to Flores, and it's down and away.
Well, Jake's definitely got the advantage right here, obviously being ahead. And problem is you don't want him to waste too many. Be aggressive. He's already got 26 pitches now in this inning.
Well, 2 he wouldn't chase. So 0-2 to 2-2. Arrieta's last start, he went 4 strong innings against minor league competition. He stayed back here at Sarasota and pitched to minor leaguers on a back field. 2 on, 2 out. And he got it. On the 2-2 pitch, Flores can't reach it. So the Nats get a run strand 2. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Here come the O's.
If you're looking to take care of the problem areas in your grass, you should know that all patch products are not created equal. We're Pennington, the grass seed people. And we're proud to tell you the truth about our Pennington One Step. We put in twice as much seed compared to their easy seed. We use a better mulch and, well, look at the difference. I guess we believe in getting to the root of the problem, don't you? Pennington One Step, honest green.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're selling their old imports. We got new Fords.
We're women. We want power in our cars.
Power-hungry women.
I love the Explorer.
Have you leaned against an edge in the past? EcoBoost technology.
It's like a 6-cylinder.
But you get the fuel efficiency of a 4-cylinder.
You're an attorney.
I can press buttons.
You press buttons for a living.
Please say a command.
Let it know what to do. It does it.
Get into a new Edge for $279 a month or an Escape for just $239. Only at your local Ford dealer.
I think I'm ready to take it home.
She just fell in love.
Buck Showalter and the Birds getting set to bat here in the bottom of the first. Nats get a run on 2 base hits. And here's a look at the Orioles lineup for today. Ryan Flaherty will bat leadoff. Then J.J. Hardy and Wilson Betemit. Betemit signed to add a veteran bat, switch hitter. 63 career home runs. Adam Jones again in that cleanup spot. Then Matt Wieters and Mark Reynolds. Chris Davis at first. Nolan Reimold at left. Robert Andino at second base will bat ninth. And they will go against the veteran right-hander Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, well, Edwin Jackson was with the Cardinals last year, won a World Series with them, had a really good postseason. Kind of put his name back up on the board and became a free agent, but couldn't find that multi-year deal, so he ended up signing a 1-year deal here with the Nats. And consistency's been his issue over his career. He's had a couple really good years, was an all-star, but to be able to be consistent and limit his balls.
Ryan Flaherty will take a strike.
Base on balls.
Okay, so you're saying in your expert scouting report that he has consistency issues, right?
Well,
okay, explain to me then, Mr. Former big leaguer, as Flaherty fouls it off. He is 60-60 in his career. Is that not consistent?
No, that is very consistent, actually. I mean, geez, anybody would take a 500 pitcher, I think, nowadays in the big leagues, but it didn't seem like anybody wanted to offer a multi-year deal
for $15 million a year.
And last year, he averaged 3 walks per game, which was really good, probably the best of his career. But I think it was back in 2009 with the Tigers where he had his most success.
He is now 28 years old. Gets ahead of Flaherty. Pops it up, shallow left. Here comes Corey Brown battling the sun. And he has it for the out, and 1 down here in the bottom of the first inning.
On Matt's defense today, they have Corey Brown in left field, Ankiel in center, Carroll in right field, Steve Lombardozzi plays third base, Desmond at short, Espinoza at second, Tracy at first, and Ramos doing the catching.
Here's J.J. Hardy back in the lineup. He's been nursing a sore arm. Says it's coming along. And it's a good sign that he is in there defensively. J.J. says that arm is sore pretty much every spring. He knows how to work through it. He knows when to give it a break, and he's good to go. He looks over a strike. 1-1 on the count.
Most players typically their arm go through an up and down, maybe a couple up and downs through the course of spring training.
Well, he waves at that pitch fooled, and it's 1-2. Well, Edwin Jackson certainly has talent. He's in his 10th season at 28 years old, and the Nationals already at age 28, his 8th different major league organization. However, there is one asterisk to those 8 teams as Hardy takes low. When he was traded last July the 27th from the White Sox traded him to the Blue Jays. And that very same day, a couple hours later, the Blue Jays had traded him to St. Louis. So technically he was a Blue Jay on paper, but he never actually joined the team. And a bouncer foul, but that's still 8 major league organizations, 7 he has now pitched for, and now his 10th season.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I'm sure he's looking to settle down as well. I know he was going into last year hoping for a multi-year deal, and obviously his goal is to have a solid year this year, maybe get an extension or something like that.
Well, he picked the Nationals because he felt they were on the verge of maybe moving up in the standings and contending, and the $11 million the Nationals. Nice effort, but Benavides hustled. That's an infield hit to Adam, and 2 on with 2 out.
It was a great effort all the way around. Lombardozzi makes a great play, rolls over, his only play at second base, and Betterment didn't slow down. Hustled into the second base, did it the right way.
And Welke right there for the call. So 2 on with 2 out. And here's Matt Wieters. Matt has 4 base hits on the spring. I asked Jim Presley the other day, the Orioles hitting coach, when he looks for his hitters to finally have that timing down where he's confident they're ready for opening day. And he says the most important dates for him are the last 7 to 10 days of games in Florida. Because in his view, and I'm sure you went through this as Wieters fouls it off, the first half of the games, the pitchers are so far ahead, the hitters really are at a disadvantage. Then it somewhere evens out, and then the hitters need to get that timing and get the hands ready and get the stroke down to go to opening day when it counts. And Jim feels by the time next week's games begin, they have to start getting it.
Well, I agree. And You know, unfortunately, that's about the same time when pitchers start mastering their slider and their changeup.
Off the end of the bat, this ball's trouble, falls in for a base hit. Here's Betemeet the score. Jones hustling. He's being sent. Here's the throw. He is out at the plate. Good chance there by DeMarlo Hale, and good hustle by Jones with 2 down. But that blue pit ties the game as Betemeet scores for Wieters, his second spring RBI. It fell in there in no man's land. 1-1 game at the end of 1.
Announcing Southwest Airlines nationwide sale with flights all over the country starting at only $69 one way. Hurry and book now, only at southwest.com.
At BGE Home, we keep you warm in the winter and cool in the summer. We have 3 priorities: saving energy, saving money, and keeping your family comfortable. Save up to $2,000 on select high-efficiency heating and air conditioning systems with 0% financing available. And qualify for up to $800 in Empower Maryland rebates. Save energy and save money. Call 1-888-BGE-HOME today.
Yeah, black tie, yeah, fresh and debonair.
We trying to keep the party jumping, so turn it up.
Black tie, yeah, fresh and debonair.
In other words, bougie, but all of that suits me.
Yeah.
The all-wheel drive Suzuki Kazashi. Upgrade your ride.
1-1 game, each team with a run in the first inning. We'll head to the second. 5 hits so far in the game, and as we mentioned at the open, this camp has been all about pitching, and Tommy Hunter nice enough to join us from the Orioles bench. And Tommy, you've been in a lot of camps and you see the competition here. What has this camp been like for you?
It's fun. You know, every time you're in a competition like that, you're going to go out and have fun, and everybody's going to try and push each other to be the best, and that's what all the guys are doing here right now, and we're going to continue doing that throughout the season.
Tommy, it's Mike Bordick. Hey, you're pretty lighthearted.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about baseball. Only go after the things you can control. And, you know, being in a situation where there's a lot of guys here, one thing that I can control is going out and, you know, pitching my game and playing baseball the way it should be played. And that's how I think everybody should take it. And if you can control the things you know you can control, you know, baseball's going to take care of itself.
You've been throwing the ball really well. You had a little bit of a health issue early on this spring?
Yeah, I got a little in the weight room. We, you know, got after it a little bit one day, and I kind of lacked on some form a little bit. I tweaked my lower back, but, you know, we've been working out. Ebo and, you know, Richie and all those guys in the training room have been taking care of me, and they've been taking care of a lot of guys this spring, and just trying to get 100%. You know, last outing was what it was, and, you know, thankfully there's, you know, 10 more days, and I got a couple more starts.
All right, before we let you go, yesterday I spoke with 3 new Orioles this year and asked each of them who's the guy in the clubhouse that keeps it loose. They all smiled, they giggled, and they said Tommy Hunter without a doubt. Do you thrive on that role? Do you like keeping it loose?
I like it because, man, it's so easy to get uptight in this game. It's so easy to get down on yourself, and there's no reason for it. Everybody's going out, everybody's competing, everybody's giving what they can give, and as long as you do that, you got to have fun doing it, and that's what I believe in.
All right, well, Tommy, we appreciate the visit. Go out and have a big year for the Birds, and we'll see you down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
That's Tommy Hunter on the bench as Jake Arrieta responds after running the first. The Nats go 3 up, 3 down. Mid-second, we're tied at 1.
This one's for all us lawnsmiths, grass gurus, doers. Here's to more Saturdays in the sun and budgets better spent. Here's to turning rookies into experts and shoppers into savers. Here's to picking up, trading up, mixing it up. To well-earned muddy boots and a lot more spring per dollar. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Break out the gardening gloves. Miracle Grow garden soil is now 3 bags for $10.
This is Hollywood, where anything can happen, and the fun never stops. From the director of the action, to the thrill seekers, from the captive audience, to the blockbuster winners. Here, you've got the lead role, because there's no place like Hollywood.
Single-game tickets for the 2012 season are now on sale. Call 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com.
Well, it's time for lunch here at the ballpark. Of course they have hot dogs, but look at them. A Bordy burger right there.
You laugh, but there is a place in Winterport, Maine that makes Bordy burgers.
No way.
Oh, yeah. The Winterport House of Pizza. Famous hangout of mine when I was a kid.
Oh, so it's not a coincidence. It's actually named after you?
It's the Bordy burger, yeah. Wow. I used to make pizzas there.
Did they deliver?
No.
Here's Mark Reynolds. Edwin Jackson will get ahead on 1. I guess you made it when somebody names a sandwich in.
Well, my best friend ran the store, so, it was all in fun.
Reynolds, Davis, Reimold for the Birds in the second. High fly ball left center field. He got a lot of it, but Ankiel's got some room. And on the warning track, he'll run it down for the out. Reynolds retired and 1 away. He hit it into the direction the wind was blowing, but the ballpark still held. Wind has been very unusual in Florida this year for spring. You see it's blowing across from right center field to left center field. Traditionally in Florida, the month of March, the wind blows straight out. But the wind currents have been slightly different this year. Although there have been some wind-aided and blown home runs. Here's Chris Davis.
And Nick Markakis got one yesterday.
Yes, he did. He'll take it.
Sure.
Davis has 11 base hits on the spring. He's hitting very well when he puts the ball in play, and that's what it's all about with Chris. He's already struck out 11 times in the spring. And if he can somehow might get to a consistency with making contact, he could have a good year.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, because he has great potential.
And he's down on 3 pitches. Can't catch up to that off-speed pitch. So the first strikeout for Jackson and 2 men down. Good pitch by Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, that was that 2-strike pitch. Great hard breaking ball down. I mean, a tight spin on that. Tough to pick up. Got him chasing it.
Here's Nolan Reimold in left field. Nolan's been getting a lot of playing time. Andy Chavez has been out of the lineup. A leg muscle pull, which is getting better, but he's still out. So Nolan getting additional time. When camp began, it was pretty much understood, at least by us, that it was Reimold's job to lose.
Right. Well, I hope they give Nolan 500, 600 at bats this year, because I would love to see him, just have a nice full year under his belt. When he came here in 2009, he had a great year. And talk about
Your out-base percentage is always among the leaders. Can that rub off on other hitters who watch a guy like you who is very patient and who knows how to work a count?
I don't know. Everybody's got their own approach. My thing is just try to get on base. If there's guys in scoring position, you want to get them in. Can't be too selective or passive. I get in a problem sometimes getting too passive, but I've been doing it my whole life, getting on base, so just something I got.
Is part of that not being concerned if you have 2 strikes?
Yeah, I don't mind. There's certain guys you don't want to get 2 strikes on, but I really don't mind hitting with 2 strikes. Try to get a good pitch and work the count.
Well, that's a good approach. And you know what? I think a benefit for the Orioles to have you on the squad is, just that. And the fact that you've done it for 10 years in the big leagues. We don't really have that veteran presence. Do guys, younger players, do they talk to you a lot about hitting? Because you do have such a consistent approach.
Some guys, but not really. I just try to take quality bats, work the pitcher, and try to get on base. I mean, when you get on base, other things can happen. Guys can pop you in, and there's some thump in the lineup.
Well, the other aspect of your game that should not be overlooked is how well you play defensively at first base. And when you have an organization that is looking to improve its pitching, that helps a lot, doesn't it, where you have that good, consistent defense behind it?
Yeah, you don't want to give extra outs away. I love playing first when I get out there. Have a good time running around, making plays. So, just see what happens, keep the body fresh, and go from there. All
right, now we asked a lot of the new Orioles who's the guy in the clubhouse that keeps it loose. Tommy Hunter won hands down. Am I to suggest that maybe you came runner-up? Are you the guy that keeps it loose in there?
No, I don't. I don't say too much. Just I go about my business. But Hunter, he's got it.
Well, Nick, we're thrilled to have you here in Baltimore. Go have a good year, and we appreciate the visit.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Nick Johnson joining us from the Orioles bench. So he's not the guy that goes out there and keeps it loose. I was given bad information.
Well, he's being humble because he has a great dry sense of humor. He really does. I've had the pleasure of sitting and talking to him on the bench a couple times, and he's a great guy. He's had great experiences in the game, and I wish these younger players would pick his mind because he has great information.
Ankiel pops it up as Arrieta about to have a second 3-up, 3-down inning as Adam Jones waits for it to come down. So Arrieta has retired 7 straight. Nick Johnson, one of the new birds, tied at 1 mid-third.
If you're
received discounted tickets, and the first 2,000 fans aged 21 and over received an Orioles Stars and Stripes t-shirt courtesy of Budweiser. Several members of our military here today. There was the Marine Corps Honor Guard before the game, and always good to have them here for the great work they do for all of us. And here is Robert Andino, who takes a strike. Edwin Jackson pounding the strike zone. Andino in the number 9 spot. Flaherty and Hardy will follow. And there's a base hit to center field. And that one up in the strike zone, and Andino all over it. First time in the game Orioles get their leadoff man on.
That's a nice swing by Andino because, those high pitches, it's really hard to not pop them up. But he kept his barrel above the ball and stayed on top of it with that line drive to center.
Well, here's Ryan Flaherty, who flied out, leading off in the bottom of the first. Flaherty, a 25-year-old. He goes after the first pitch, hits it to center field, chasing Ankiel back. He reaches up and he makes the catch. Nicely done by Ankiel as that ball took off on him. Back to first as Andino, one away. The bidding closes today at 6 o'clock on those special green Orioles St. Patrick's Day caps that were worn last week to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and promote Ed Smith Stadium standing as one of the most environmentally friendly ballparks in America. Each game-worn hat was autographed by the player who wore it, authenticated by Major League Baseball, and is available for auction until 6 p.m. today. Just get online, Orioles.com, and the proceeds will benefit Keep Sarasota County Beautiful, a nonprofit environmental organization here in Sarasota County. So own a unique piece of Orioles memorabilia. Get online, Orioles.com. Make your bid. Time's running out. 6 p.m. tonight. The bidding will close.
Been seeing a lot of base stealing this spring.
Fly ball down the right field side. Brett Carroll battling the wind. Nice effort, sliding just in front of the tarpaulin, and it bounces foul.
Especially some of these American League East teams. Bobby Valentine with the Red Sox has put a lot of guys in motion this spring. And, I mean, this is a situation I'd like to see Robert Andino try to swipe it back here, With Jackson up 2 strikes on Hardy. He has potential here to pick a pitch, probably a breaking ball or something out of the strike zone that he can run on.
Andino with a modest lead off first. 0-2 on Hardy with 1 down. And it's in the dirt, knocked down by Wilson Ramos. Well, the Orioles do have 17 steals in the spring, and they have been caught just 5 times. Andino, who's at first base, he's 1 out of 2.
Well, they have a great base running coach, Wayne Kirby, and he's out there just about every day with some of the base stealers. So, you hope that something clicks. Sometimes it's hard to just let yourself go, but we have guys that are plenty fast enough.
And Jackson suspicious that Andino might go, and he steps off. Well, there's Kirby looming behind the first baseman, Chad Tracy, there. He's got the stopwatch in hand. He's timing that Jackson delivery to the plate. And if they get a time that's in their favor, they send the runners. 1-2 is inside. Good at bat for Hardy from 0-2 to even.
Yeah, Jackson's pretty quick to the plate. He looks like he's probably right around 1-2, maybe even less. They typically, base stealers, if there's a number over 1-4, then that's pretty much a green light for a base stealer to go. I mean, big league.
Ball gets away from Tracy on the pickoff attempt, and Andino will make it to second. Well, that'll be a throwing error on Jackson, and the Orioles benefit. Andino to second with 1 down.
Well, maybe they were worried about him stealing as well and kind of rushed that pickoff throw. Got away from Tracy, and Andino heads up, sees the ball, and off to second base.
Well, Hardy with a chance for an RBI. He's got 2 on the spring. Two is bounced to first. Tracy moves in on it, plays the in-between hop. Hardy's retired as Andino gets to third.
Generally in talking about stolen bases, it's pretty hard to steal on a big league catcher. I mean, they're typically right around 2 seconds down to second base. It's the pitcher. If that pitcher is over 1-4, that's a red flag, and guys are going to run all day. If they're up around 1-5, 1-6.
Well, that is a focus as Wilson Betemit comes in, that the organization is really focusing on at the minor league level. And one of the reasons that Rick Peterson was brought in as Betemit hits it to right field, and it falls in for a base hit. There's an RBI single for Betemit and Dino in, and the Orioles grab a 2-1 lead. So in each rally you score a run, it's been a 2-out base hit. So the Orioles grab the lead on the RBI hit by Betemit. He's 2 out of 2 and now has 7 ribbies. And here is Adam Jones, who's got a 6-game hitting streak now as he singled his first at bat. All 6 games during the hitting streak has coincided with Adam batting cleanup. As we continue to watch Buck Showalter and how he utilizes the different hitters. And here's the cleanup batters so far in the spring, with Adam now 7 of those, and as you see, his 6th consecutive start at cleanup. Chris Davis 5, Wieters 4, Betemit has had 3, and then Reynolds, Mahoney, and Reimold have had 1 each. So it looks like, Mike, that Adam Jones, and he's really producing over the last week, he may have found a home in that number 4 spot.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. He is producing. I mean, there's some guys down there. Davis, if you look at Chris Davis, he looks like a prototypical 4-hole hitter, but you know, just the inconsistencies right now with the strikeouts. And Jonesy, you know, he's had a great week, and hopefully he can settle in there, because you know, that would be a good spot for him. And he's just matured so much as a hitter.
Big full cut, and he swung through it. Well, let's see. He is 10 for his last 16 with 3 home runs. Would you say that's a good week?
I think that's really good, and I'm sure he hopes he can have that same first week in April. You know, I want to use them all up down here, Adam.
The ball and 2 strikes on him. Run in, Betemit at first. And he ties him up inside. 2-2 on Jones. Jones is certainly confident, and whether or not he wants to agree, he is one of the leaders on this team. He'll turn 27 in August. He looks up and sees Nick Markakis in the locker room and feels, well, this is Nick's team. But Adam is without a doubt a leader. And the best way to do that, Mike, is play as he's been playing with a purpose. He said he's tired of losing, and the best way to help fix that is to lead by example.
Well, that's just a sign of maturity. And, you know, it's been fun to watch these guys kind of grow. And Adam's just gotten better and better and better every year. Matt Wieters the same way. And, you know, in another year or two, man, these guys, hopefully, if they all stay together, you know, we're looking at something special.
2-2 is hit hard towards the hole, and another base hit. It bounced on past Ian Desmond. So another multi-hit game for Adam Jones, who is just on fire. As he has 2 singles in this game. It's his 5th multi-hit game this week.
Yeah, he was aggressive there. I mean, Jackson came right after him, and you know, probably not his best swing, but found a hole with it for sure.
So the Orioles get 2 on after Jackson was able to get the second out. A run in, and here's Matt Wieters. Wieters blooped one in. It fell in center field to drive in a run in the first inning. And he hits it to left field. It carries on Corey Brown, and that ball is gone. There's a wind-aided home run, but Wieters, good power the opposite way, and he got it up there in a jet stream, and it carried out. A 3-run shot for Wieters, his 2nd of the spring. High fives on the bench for Matt Wieters, who has a very good stroke batting left-handed to left center and to straightaway left field, and that's where he hit that one over Corey Brown's head, and it carried out. So it's a 4-run inning and a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, he was aggressive on this fastball, middle away. And, you know, I'm not saying, I don't think that was that much wind-aided. Sure, it got pushed a little bit, but he barreled that ball pretty well. That's been working extra on the backfields just on that, not hitting home runs the opposite way, but actually backing the ball up and hitting it the other way, because that is one of his true strengths. Like you said, left center gap. And he's been a little over anxious here early on in spring training, and it showed up. He got a nice base hit yesterday to left field, and now this home run.
Reynolds takes it's 1-2. Well, you're very much a part and have been on all those backfield drills. When hitters go out there with Terry Crowley, is that what goes on? They work on specific things as opposed to just hitting the ball?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Most guys, go ahead. Sorry.
You're allowed to finish. Reynolds takes a called strike 3 and the inning ends. Look at that. What's better than that? A youngster at the game, and what's better than a 3-run shot and a 5-1 Oriole lead? One game, Mark Reynolds last year hit 37 home runs, but he also committed 31 errors, which was most in the American League. And here's the breakdown, and you see 11 throwing errors. He also had 5 drops, most of those when he played at first base. But look at the bottom there. 1 error so far in 23 chances. Now, Mike, you mentioned all the work that goes on in the backfields. What types of things is Mark Reynolds doing to try to cut down on those errors?
Well, you know, we had talked to DeMarlo Hale this winter about, you know, Mark Reynolds particularly, and kind of came up with a conclusion that most times when players make throwing errors, even fielding errors, that means their feet aren't working right for them. So we go on the half field, on the turf field with
knocked down by Arrieta. And he'll run it down and get it to first for the out. He took it off his shin, but gets it out.
With, you know, DeMarlo Hale and Bobby Dickerson, who was a minor league infield coordinator, and specifically work on his footwork. Now, you know, it's much like a lineman in the NFL who have to have perfect feet in order to block 350-pound guys. Now, Mark Reynolds doesn't have to block 350-pound guys, but in order to position himself properly, his feet have to work well, whether it be a drop step or a step in. It has to be an aggressive first step. And in order to do that, there's a lot of different drills, but to get his feet active, more like, you know, a tennis player returning a serve, so their feet are active all the time so that they can respond. Boom, the crack of the bat, they're off, and they can cover more ground and get themselves in a better fielding position.
Ramos takes a strike, 1 out, and nobody on. And the breaking ball misses low. 8 in a row retired by Arrieta. All right, so DeMarlo Hale comes to Buck Showalter's staff. He's the infield coach. He'll coach third base. He didn't know Mark Reynolds other than from afar. He was the Red Sox bench coach last year. You're here. Bobby Dickerson is here. Who decides what type of drill is utilized to best suit Mark Reynolds? And then who takes the initiative, the coach or the player?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mark Reynolds is taking the initiative all spring.
There's a ground ball to third on cue. There's the footwork. There's the throw, and 2 men down.
Beautiful, beautiful. No, Mark Reynolds has taken the initiative. He's obviously aware of what happened last year. He's got a lot of pride, and from day one here in spring training, you know, he's wanted to make himself better. He goes out there every home game. He's going to be out there till the end of spring training, doing drills with either DeMarlo Hale, myself, or Bobby Dickerson. I mean, he's committed to it, and he wants to make this team better. He wants to make himself better. And in doing so, I mean, that's what it's all about right there. And I think we've seen him make some of the most amazing plays at third base. He's got plenty of arm strength. He makes those spectacular plays. Problem is, in order to be consistent in the big leagues, you have to make the routine play consistently. And that's the stuff we're trying to work on.
And you saw Bobby Dickerson on the bench with DeMarlo Hale, so they're even talking infield as they watch from the bench. 0-2 pitch misses outside the Flores as Arrieta really pitching a gem here. And there's that coaching talent that the organization is utilizing, along with Mike Bordick, who, when he's not here with us, is in uniform and out on those fields. But 11 throwing errors, and if he can cut those down, that's a lot of outs, obviously, that are recorded, possibly getting you out of innings, or at a minimum not prolonging an inning.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, when you talk about winning teams, paying attention to detail.
And a swing and a miss. So Flores is out. He struck out twice, and that is what it's all about. A 3-up, 3-down inning. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, Jim Hunter with Mike Bordick here at Ed Smith Stadium, and joined now by the Orioles bench coach and catching instructor John Russell, who joins us from the bench. And John, I know how hard you work with Matt Wieters. You had to be absolutely thrilled when he was able to win that Gold Glove last year. What is that like from a coach's standpoint when you see your pupil go out there and do what he did last year?
Well, obviously I was very proud of him. I mean, he worked really hard, and it all started with the work that he put in spring training and the things that he wanted to get accomplished for the season. And to go out and do what he did, it was fun to watch for me. But I know he was very dedicated to going out and having the type of season that he did. And I thought hands down he was the best catcher that I saw in the American League.
Hey, John, it's Mike Bordick. This spring I've seen Matt Wieters, throw behind runners a lot. Is that something you guys have kind of built into his repertoire to try to do more of this year, just to help control that running game?
Well, we talked about it this winter. I worked out with Matt a little bit before spring training, and you always ask guys, what do you want to accomplish this year? Obviously, we want to maintain, what he did last year with the throwing, blocking, handling the staff, but you try to add something to it, and he came out and said he'd like to be more aggressive, picking runners off, and get the reputation of a guy that can do that, and it helps us as a team because you keep guys a little bit closer to the base. It helps you. Contain him a little bit, so it's a little tougher for him to take that extra base on a hit. And, so he's taken a lot of pride in it. He's worked awfully hard on it. He's tried a few down here, and he's had a couple success with it. But I think the biggest thing is just to get the word out that, Matt's he's going to be a guy that's going to throw behind some runners, and hopefully that'll shorten up some leads for us.
Chris Davis down on strikes for the first out. Well, last year, John, Matt caught 34 base stealers, and Mike and I were talking about infielders and how important the footwork is. How important is the footwork of Matt Wieters behind the plate?
It's great. I mean, he's one of the best cheaters I've ever seen as far as getting his body moving as the pitch is coming. And, you know, it's tough to teach. He's phenomenal as tall as he is and as big a guy as he is, that he can actually get his body moving as the pitch is coming and get in a great position where he can have a quick release. And, you know, the guy, if you put him on the mound, he'd probably throw about 95 anyway. So that helps that he has the strong arm and the quickness to make good throws.
Well, Reimold reaches on the errant throw by Steve Lombardozzi near the line, and the Orioles will get a one-out base runner. What about the blocking of the balls, which he is without a doubt, I agree with you, he's easily the best in the American League, the teams we see every day. How often can you possibly work on that? I did see him go out to the bullpen this morning after the first group with the shin guards. Maybe today was the day you worked on that, but how often do you work on that, keeping those balls in front of them so they don't get back to the backstop?
Well, with Matt, usually it's just a reminder. You know, he let a ball get by him yesterday, and you know, he takes a lot of pride in that. I think for a catcher, that's one of the things you really look for, is how much pride they have in blocking balls, and that's half the battle right there. And he takes a lot of pride in it, and he doesn't want balls getting by him. So, you know, in spring training, you know, you see something like that, we'll talk about it, and if I see something that's a little mechanical that he's doing, then yeah, we'll work on it. But if it's just one of those that maybe is a little late, or, you know, in spring training the dirt's awfully hard, and sometimes you can't really help it. So it's more or less just talking about it. But, you know, when we see something mechanical, then we will make an adjustment.
And Dino with a base hit to center field. So after the throwing error, a single and 2 on with 1 out for the Orioles. Does he actually? I realize he's starting to play a little bit more now as we're getting closer and closer to opening day. But on days in which he was not scheduled to play, do you work on him with all those things to take advantage of the fact that he's not in the game? Are those the days you put in a lot of that work?
Well, you can. You know, days down here, I mean, the main goal for us is to get Matt in season form, but also to make sure that, you know, he's healthy. You know, we don't want to overwork it to where, you know, we risk doing something that, you know, he's not able to answer the bell. So, you know, usually when he stays back, we'll pick one thing, whether it's receiving in the cage or, you know, working on a little footwork, just to, you know, give him something that he can, you know, work on for that day. But for the most part, it's just, you know, identifying what he wants to work on. And if I see something in the game that day and then we go on the road the next day, I just mention to him, hey, you might want to, you know, go look at the video, see what you did, and we'll talk about it the next day. And, you know, usually that's good enough for him. But as far as the physical work, you know, he works on things not only in the bullpen when he's warming up the guy, but, you know, in spring training, it really bears down during the game to make sure he does it right.
Flaherty pulls it to right field. That's a base hit. Reimold around third. He will score easily. They throw behind the runner. And Ryan Flaherty trying to make this team as a solid RBI single. So the Orioles taking it to Edwin Jackson. It's now 6-1. Visiting with John Russell. Of course, Taylor Teagarden has unfortunately been injured, as you get a look at the swing of Ryan Flaherty pulling that ball with authority. Ronnie Paulino is in camp. It's, I would guess, a disadvantage to you as the coach to have the guy you thought was going to be the backup not be able to get on the field.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, Taylor was making great strides. He was feeling really good, and, you know, came with the back problem. And we're hopefully we can get him back. I don't know if he's going to be ready for the start of the season, but hopefully not too far into the season. So, you know, it's just a process of getting back. I mean, I thought it was a great addition for us. He catches and throws very well, and he supplies a little bit of bat for us as well. So, you know, we're anxious to get him back, and in the meantime, we're just going to, you know, look at all of our options and see what would be the best fit for us to take north with us.
Hey, John, how hard is it for catchers to deal with this many new pitchers in camp? I mean, it must be tough on Matt to try to learn all these guys and what they throw.
It is, but, you know, he's a great student, and that's one of the things I love about him. And, you know, any chance he got when we started camp to catch the guys that he didn't know, as far as, you know, like Chen or Wieters, for example. And, you know, he really wanted to step in there and catch those guys. And the more chances we can get for him to match up with those guys in games so he gets a feel of what they do is great for him. But also, he spends time with them. He talks to them. With the, you know, the Asian pitchers, he spends time with the interpreters to make sure he gets a feel for what they like to do. But he's a great mentor as far as reading the hitter, reading the game, knowing what he wants his pitchers to do, and communicating with them. So I think with the new staff, you know, he tries to get a step ahead of that, and I think he's done a great job this spring.
John, before we let you go, I'd like to ask you about a player that maybe the fans haven't heard a lot about yet, but they probably will as Hardy pops it foul out of play, and that's Brian Ward, who was in camp. He hasn't played yet above Frederick, but I understand that defensively, this young man may be ready right now. That's how much he's impressed. Tell us about Brian Ward and what you see in this young player.
Yeah, I really like him. You know, we talked a little bit early in spring training about calming him down a little bit. You know, he's a real energetic guy, and you know, he loves to catch. He had a really good year last year, and you know, just talk to him about, you know, calming down a little bit, because you know, at this level you start receiving guys that have a little bit better stuff, late movement, and you know, he quieted him down. He caught him in the game the other day against the Twins, and did a really nice job with Tillman. He was very quiet, received the ball very well, and he's got a really good arm with a quick release. So, you know, this is a kid that is on the radar for us as far as being a guy that can help us out behind the plate.
And after all, every organization needs a guy who played at Lewis and Clark State in Idaho. I mean, that's that catching bastion out there, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I'm excited for Brian. He made a lot of progress in the short time he was here, and you know, I'm sure we'll get a few more looks at him. You know, with you know, sending some of the catchers out, we need backup help during you know, the games where Matt doesn't catch. So I'm sure we'll get another opportunity to watch Brian catch.
Well, John, we appreciate the visit. Congratulations on a real good camp with your catchers, and we'll look forward to big things from the Orioles this year.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's John Russell, nice enough to join us, the bench coach, and he works hard. And, Mike, as you were talking about, all the work that we don't see goes on in those back fields, and it's all about taking those balls in the dirt and working on the footwork.
Yeah, catchers, unfortunately, have the unenviable position of having to catch all the bullpens, have to work on their skill, their craft, you know, blocking balls. And, man, those guys get worn out in spring training, especially early on.
Here's Steve McCaddy, the pitching coach, coming out for a visit as the Orioles have loaded the bases. Well, don't forget, opening day fast approaching, now less than 2 weeks away. The only way to get tickets is by becoming an Orioles partial season plan holder, and you can do so for as low as $159. You'll enjoy the huge list of the exclusive orange carpet benefits, special events, promotions, ceremonies, and more are planned for this 20th anniversary season of Oriole Park. And this year promises to be one you won't forget. So there's no better way to get close to the action than by becoming an Orioles partial season plan holder. Call 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com/season to get all the details. Oriole fans here with their Oriole gear. Fans are really taking to coming to Sarasota and watching spring games. Even though it's been such a mild winter at home. I'm curious, you know, you've been down there since just after Valentine's Day. You've probably been at the beach every day, right?
No. I wish. Long days here at the yard.
Wilson Betemeet with the bases loaded and one down. The error has hurt Edwin Jackson after a strikeout of Davis. Reimold bounced to third. It should have been 2 outs and nobody on. But the throw allowed Reimold to reach, and he has scored. And Jackson has not retired a batter since. Jackson in his career against the Orioles 5-1 in 9 games. Wow. The Birds are batting him around a little bit today. Betemeet's 2 for 2. Now back on the screen, it's 2-1.
Boy, the Nationals have put together a pretty good starting pitching rotation, haven't they? I mean, there are some, you know, reasons to be concerned. Obviously, Strasburg's coming off Tommy John surgery, and Zimmerman also had some surgery. But boy, you line that starting staff up: Strasburg, Gonzalez, Jackson, Zimmerman, Lannan. That's pretty good.
And Chen-Ming Wong is still over there.
Yeah, Wong
He's
as well,
battling some injuries.
Yep.
Well, the speculation is that John Lannan is actually available in a trade. Now, they might want to hang on to him if Chen-Ming Wong is not ready, but it's not a bad pitcher that they're possibly looking to move because they do have that depth. Right. 2-2 to Betemeet is just off the plate, ball 3. Jackson was a 6th-round pick of the Dodgers in 2001. Did make his big league debut with the Dodgers. Then traded to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay sent him to Detroit, who sent him to Arizona. Arizona sent him to Chicago, and Chicago sent him to St. Louis through Toronto. Foul back. And after all that, he chose to sign with Washington. You see Bettamy there wearing number 24. Last year, Chris Tillman wore that number, and I asked him if he made a request and maybe made a trade, and he said no. When I showed up in day one, that's the number they gave me. And he's worn that number most stops in his career. Here's the 3-2, and it's outside, ball 4. Back-to-back walks. This one with the bases loaded will force in a run. And Dino scores. So it's a 2-run inning and a 7-1 Oriole lead.
Orioles are putting together some really good at-bats. You know, Edwin Jackson's got some really good stuff. You know, he's missing off the plate, and they're patient enough to take it. Back-to-back walks, you know, and obviously a couple timely hits.
And here is Adam Jones, who is as hot as anyone in the Grapefruit League. 2 for 2 today with a couple of singles. He has scored a run, and he bats here with the bases loaded. Outside, ball 1. Adam last year, a career high 25 home runs. Swings through it, 1-1 the count.
He was looking to drive in more than one run right there.
Adam now with a 6-game hitting streak. Slow chopper towards third. Tough play for Lombardozzi. He fields and throws high, and it gets over the head of Chad Tracy. 1 run is in. Here's another run. Here's Bettamy coming to the plate. Here's the throw home. It is high. The tag. He is out at the plate as Ramos found Bettamy and applied the tag. So the Orioles get 2 more. Carroll guns it to the plate to get Bettamy, and Jones ends up at second base.
Yeah, Jonesy just beats that one in the ground. Lombardozzi having a tough inning. I mean, it's not an easy play, but, you know, throws it up the line, and boy, with the bases loaded, they're just running like crazy.
So the Orioles score 2 more as Flaherty and Hardy score, and Jones ends up at second base. And here is Matt Wieters, the 8th batter this inning. And it's down and in. And it should be an error all the way on Lombardozzi, but Jones will get an RBI because the fielder was trying to make the play at first. One-0 pitch is fouled off. Last at bat, Matt Wieters came up with 2 on and 2 out and got into one.
Sure did. You know, like we had talked about before, that wasn't really that wind-aided. He barreled that ball up well and drove it over the fence.
Wieters has a 2-hit game. He's got 4 RBIs in this game, and the Orioles now leading at 9-1. And another base hit. This one pulled up the middle. Adam Jones will score easily as Ankiel plays it back in. So Wieters a 5 RBI game. And the Orioles now have a 10-1 lead.
Well, that's great to see by Matt. You know, he's obviously having a great day today, but we had talked about the work he's putting in on the backfield. You know, you get around, you know, the 2nd, 3rd week in spring training, and if you're not swinging the bat quite the way you'd like to, you tend to get a little bit worried, you know. I mean, it's just human nature. Geez, when am I going to find my stroke? And when the hits start falling in for you, you get that more relaxed, get that comfortable feeling, and you know, Matt Wieters' confidence is going to start rolling back again.
Davey Johnson out to remove Edwin Jackson as the Nats will make a pitching change. Ryan Matthews will be coming on for the Nats, the right-handers. So the Orioles pounding Edwin Jackson and have a 10-1 lead. Forget, at 6 special games this season, the O's will celebrate the 6 greatest birds of all time: Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Jim Palmer, Earl Weaver, Eddie Murray, and Cal Ripken Jr. And when you purchase the Orioles Legends Celebration Series package, you'll receive a ticket to each game when the larger-than-life bronze sculptures will be unveiled at the ballpark. And all fans in attendance at each of those games will receive a replica sculpture as a lasting memory. So don't miss your chance to witness Orioles history. 888-848-BIRD or get online Orioles.com/legends. And here is Ryan Matthews to face Mark Reynolds, the 9th Oriole to bat in this 4th inning, and there's a strike.
That sounded like a pretty good package, didn't it? Be able to go to those games?
Absolutely.
See those monuments unveiled, the statues unveiled.
And the statues will be unveiled in the order in which they went into the Hall of Fame. Did you know that?
I did not know
that. You know that now?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to lobby for a Bordick statue.
Yeah. I don't even have a stinking bobblehead. And everybody gets bobbleheads.
Outback 1 and 2. I'm not sure if begging is appropriate.
That's not begging.
All right, note to self: push somebody to get a Bordy bobblehead. He's already got a cheeseburger up in Maine. Needs a bobblehead, and that'll be the first part to getting him a statue. And a swing and a miss and a pitch down as Reynolds goes down on strike. So the inning ends, but a big inning for the Birds, who now lead it 10-1. The Orioles have certainly found a home in Sarasota. If you haven't had the chance to come down and see the Birds, you will not be disappointed in this area. It is absolutely gorgeous, very laid back. St. Armand Circle is fabulous. The Bald Eagles are even here, and the Oriole Birds. So if you have a chance to plan a vacation around spring training, I highly recommend it. You will thoroughly enjoy Sarasota, Florida. And the beaches around this area are fabulous, as Mike Bordick knows firsthand.
You went to the beach yesterday, not me.
I was there for 2 hours one day.
Yeah, well,
that was it.
I haven't been to the beach.
You live at the
all
beach.
Spring. I can see the beach, but I don't go to the beach.
Well, I encourage the fans to come down because they will enjoy it.
They sure will.
They don't have to hit ground balls to infielders in the backfield like me.
Right. That's my beach out there.
Here's Corey Brown. And takes high as Jake Arrieta works for 5th inning here. Retired 10 in a row.
He settled down nicely after that first inning, hasn't he?
There was a 2-out RBI single, a bloop by Ramos, and no one has reached since. Bouncer towards the middle. There's Andino to his right. And gets it to first and 1 down. We mentioned the Orioles this spring. The focus has really been about pitching, and beginning with the starters. Buck Showalter in the 22 A games, including today, has used 9 different starters. Now, why is the starting pitching important? Those bottom 2 lines. Starters ERA, highest in the American League last year at 5.39. and the 46 wins by starters tied for 12th. And those are two areas they need to improve, because when your starter's ERA is that high, that puts a lot of pressure on the hitters.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Your bullpen ends up getting extended, and you know, it really takes a toll on everybody. But the Orioles have done a great thing this year. They brought Rick Peterson over, who was considered the guru of pitching mechanics and developing pitchers, and he's working in our minor leagues. But he started over here in big league camp with a lot of these guys, so he was able to see their deliveries and work with them on that. And also, we have a psychologist in camp as well that's helping them with athletic preparation, you know, the mental preparation of being consistent on the field and repeating your delivery over and over again. A lot of guys have really taken to that.
Wieters has a play, and he puts it away for the second out.
And like we had talked about, I mean, results this spring, I mean, it's showing up. You know, with lower walks, you know, throwing more strikes, obviously having more success, lower ERA this spring. You know, and you hope that carries over into the season.
Well, the mechanical aspects of the pitching, and our colleague Jim Palmer talks about this all the time because he's such an expert at pitching mechanics. But you look at Jake Arrieta, he looks real fluid here today, and there's a line drive to right and a base hit. So after 12 in a row retired, there's a 2-out single by Lombardozzi.
Yeah, I think you just jinxed him right there. But he does look fluid. His delivery is so smooth right now. I don't know if you remember, and it would be nice if one of these days we can get a picture of his mechanics last year. There was like when his front foot would land, there'd be a recoil almost after. And now it's just a nice smooth follow through and a great consistent delivery.
Here's Ian Desmond, the leadoff hitter. And it's inside. Well, you wonder if that recoil was a result of that bone spur that was in his elbow. Maybe subconsciously he was favoring that, and that caused that.
I think so.
Or if he just decided, that's hurting me, I'm going to get rid of it. I mean, the easiest way to look at this is the shortest distance between 2 points is straight.
Right.
So if he's coming straight at Matt Wieters' glove, that's the desired attention. He's 2-0 on Desmond, and there's a strike. And Jake Arrieta, just 26 years old. This is his third season. He was 6-6 as a rookie in 2010, then won 10 games last year. Ground ball pulled foul, sharply foul. You know, and the other part of that, and I'm sure the elbow surgery that he had, did cost him the final 2 months of last season. But one thing Jake knows he needs to do is get deeper in games. A lot of games can be won if you're still hanging around in the 7th inning, giving your team a chance to possibly come back. In his career, he has only had 5 starts, 5 of 40, in which he has pitched at least 7 innings.
Yeah, he's aware of that. And, you know, this guy, we had talked about it earlier, he's a great competitor. He wants to be out there.
Desmond slaps it the other way.
Sometimes his pitch count just won't let him stay out there. And, you know, his stuff, he doesn't need to go that deep in counts with his stuff.
And we're going to get a pinch runner here. Andres Blanco, the former Texas Rangers backup infielder, takes over for Ian Desmond. Davey Johnson beginning now to go to his bench in this 5th inning in a 10-1 game. Desmond leaves after a 1-for-3 afternoon. And here's Danny Espinosa. Sharply hit towards short. There's Hardy. There's a short way to Andino for the force on Blanco, and the inning ends. So a couple of hits after 2 men down, mid-5th in beautiful Sarasota. Arrieta's in charge. A 10-1 game. There's Jake Arrieta on the bench, who has pitched a gem of a game and still in there. We believe he's still in there. And a couple of defensive changes you see there in the middle infield. Andres Blanco is now at shortstop, and Adrian Sanchez will take over at second base for the departed Danny Espinosa. In the middle infield, Blanco will be at short, and Sanchez at second. Ryan Matthews, who got the final out by striking out Mark Reynolds in the fourth inning, will stay on. Well, the Orioles coming up here in the bottom of the fifth, and let's head down to the newest team executive in Major League Baseball. He
saw the card.
He even has a credential to prove it. Not that he was showing it off today with his executive title on there.
I don't know where you saw that.
First ball swinging is Davis. Sanchez is challenged and won away quickly here. But Brady now an assistant to Dan Duquette. You've been here the entire camp. Let's first go back to the offseason, because Tommy Hunter talked about it. The workout program you had for a lot of these players. What was that all about, and how did you convince them that this would help them?
I didn't have to do much convincing. You know, I got to know these guys during the season. They had a desire to improve. The workout program was, I mean, without getting too complex, was making them stronger and faster, better athletes. That's what they came out to do. That's what they accomplished. They worked really hard. They were fun to train. Try to explain to them that it's not just an off-season thing where they start over after. You might want to announce that one. Get out of here.
That ball's hit deep, left center field. Back it goes, and there it's gone for a home run. So Nolan Reimold on Brady's cue hits it out. That's his first of the spring. And it's now 11-1 in favor of the Orioles.
Yeah, Nolan needed that right there, actually. He's been feeling his swing a little bit. That's good to see. I'd like to run down there and hug him, but I'm not going to right now.
That was a great swing.
Is Mike Bordick there?
And here I am. I'm just about, wait, we're enjoying the home run, man. We're enjoying the home run.
I want to enjoy Mike Bordick, newest member of Masson is what I want to enjoy. Let's go.
Well, I thought you were going to make a home run call there for a second.
Let me hear your home run call.
That's a deep drive by Nolan Reimold, the left center field, and it's gone.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay. Hey,
sounded like a bad Harry Carey imitation.
Come on, that was money.
It's a combination between you and Gary Thorne.
Brady doesn't do anything poorly.
All right, listen to this, Brady. So, you know, you brought this workout program over here to obviously the big league club, but is there any concern about, you know, helping out the minor leagues? Is it kind of filtering down there, and are you talking with the strength and conditioning guys in the minor leagues?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we have, you know, in the process of hiring new ones. Getting them on board, letting them know that this is an athletic performance model, and that's what we expect. We expect them to train their athletes hard, make them stronger, make them more powerful, make them faster, test them regularly, and hold them accountable.
And Dino on that blue pit just off the glove of Tracy. So Robert in the number 9 spot, 3 out of 3 as we visit with Brady Anderson. Ryan Flaherty comes up. Ryan an RBI single his last at bat. Brady, there seems to be a different attitude in this camp in the sense that there's a purpose, that there's a goal. And I realize every year you go out there, you want to win. But there seems to be something in this clubhouse and on this field where these players are tired of what has gone on, tired of hearing about it, and they're going to do something about it.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to have a camp run by Buck Showalter where there's not a purpose and an intent. That's just what his camps are about. He prepared the team very well last year. They got off to a great start. And I don't think there's ever a season where you go in as an individual player or as a team planning to fail or planning to do anything but your best. So in that way, I don't think this camp is that unusual, other than the way Buck runs things is particularly meticulous and well planned out.
Hey, Brady, we had talked earlier about leadoff hitters. Who in your mind on this team kind of represents the prototypical big league leadoff hitter?
As far as a prototype, probably we probably don't have the actual prototype, but they're hard to come by. Not many teams do. I think Nolan fits into the leadoff spot nicely. He's a little more, you know, you might raise a few eyebrows when you think about that, but Nolan's actually one of the guys who's very meticulous about pitch selection. He's going to get pitched around because he has big power numbers. I always think it's a huge asset. Well, I know it's a huge asset when you're a type hitter who adds power to the leadoff spot. That's the only way you're going to get walks in this game. You're not going to be a Juan Pierre who slaps singles around and have pitchers walk you or pitch around you. That's not going to happen. The great leadoff hitters in the game, Ricky Henderson, Kenny Lofton, players like that, they all added power to their game as well as speed.
Yourself.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Well, the other point that you made to Mike Bordick earlier about what you look for, and I agree with you about Nolan Reimold, because he is a real good batting guy, and it doesn't mean that he goes up there looking for a walk, but he knows how to be very selective in what he swings at.
Where he does, and there's, you have to make a certain, when you talk about hitting approach, some of it's not approach, some of it's how the pitchers are going after you, and there's a big difference. Typically you look at the players that walk the most in the league. Jim Thome, Barry Bonds, the best eye of all time and the most patient hitter of all time, and also the most pitched around hitter of all time. So that would be the ideal leadoff hitter. If you want a prototype leadoff hitter, it's Barry Bonds, but he's too good, so they're usually going to hit him third or fourth.
All right, that's team executive Brady Anderson joining us from
I have
the
a
bench.
card to prove it.
Orioles get a run on the Reimold home run. Let's just call him Mr. Anderson. Orioles lead it 11-1.
All right, man. See you guys.
And here is your newest Oriole added to the organization, Dontrell Willis. He was let go by the Phillies. He was in their camp, and the Orioles signed him. He'll likely might start in the minor leagues because Dan Duquette told us the other day the Orioles envisioned Dontrell Willis as a left-handed specialist out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's had success in the big leagues, obviously. He's had a few really good years. And he's lost a little bit of his command, but, they see something in him. Maybe he can be that lefty specialist.
And he's facing Ankiel and Tracy here, back-to-back lefties, then the Ramos spot. Defensive replacement, there's Manny Machado, the Orioles' top prospect. Takes over for J.J. Hardy at shortstop. He has had a very good spring.
He sure has.
And there's a strike taken.
Every time he's in the game, he does something just to catch everybody's eye and say, oh, that's why he's a top prospect.
Good pitch on the inner part of the plate, and Ankiel can't reach it. 2-2.
Have you had the pleasure of talking to Dontrell?
I have not, but the other day I was in the clubhouse talking to Kevin Gregg, and he walked in, and I couldn't believe how big he was.
He's big.
Wow.
But I guarantee he was smiling. It's the happiest person I've ever known. I mean, he is just excited to put on a big league uniform and happy to be out here.
Now there's a leadoff walk as Ankiel goes down to first base. Well, don't forget about the Junior Orioles Dugout Club. It is Birdland's best value and family entertainment. Kids 14 and under get tickets to 10 games plus an exclusive club hat, a membership card, a backpack, and more, and it's all for just $20. Members even get the exclusive giveaway items at each game. And family and friends can buy tickets as low as $6 with a chance to upgrade to the lower deck. Now, to find out more, 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com/dugout club. And here's Chad Tracy, and there's a strike. Here's Michael Taylor, pinch running for Ann Keel. Inside, gets away from Wieters, and that goes all the way back to the screen. Taylor will get the second base. I think Matt may have been crossed up there. Wild pitch they have ruled, so Taylor to second base. Dontrelle Willis in 2005 at 23 years old won 22 games for the Florida Marlins. The ball stays inside. He hasn't had a lot of game action as of late because he was released by the Phillies and then the Orioles signed him. There was a layover in there. He had to come over, get a physical past that, sign the contract. Down and away. 3-1 the count. 72 career wins, 205 games. Last year with Cincinnati went 1-6. Won 22 games, second in the Cy Young. Rookie of the Year as well, and there's back-to-back walks. Now, one of the things that the Orioles liked about him and why they went after him is he is very effective against left-handed batters usually, as we get another pinch runner as Brett Newsom is going to come on and pinch run. And Chasey will leave the game.
I wonder how many days it's been since he's pitched. Having a little problem finding the zone right now.
And a sharply hit ball foul down the third base line. Wilson Ramos timed that one.
Ricadera and Buck looking a little concerned over there in the dugout.
That pitch is over below, 2-1. Well, what probably will happen with Dontrelle, because time is winding down and the pitchers that the Orioles expect will be on the opening day roster need to get their innings, is he'll likely begin the year in AAA to get used to this role of coming into a game to get out a tough left-handed batter. He's walked the first two batters in this inning. He's 3-1 on Ramos. And there's another walk. The Bear is going to come out for a chat. So the base is loaded on walks. The Orioles did have Clay Rapata, but he was designated for assignment in the offseason. Became a free agent after he was released, and he's trying to make the Yankees as a left-handed specialist. He was very effective at it. Last year for Cincinnati, Willis held left-handed batters to a 127 batting average.
That's really good.
And that's what piqued the curiosity and interest of Dan Duquette. So the base is loaded. Taylor, Newsom, and Ramos. And a high pop-up. Andino out. Flaherty charging in. Andino calls. And he has it for the out. The runners have to hold. So a big out there for Dontrelle Willis. And one away as the runners have to hold. See the animated way he goes about it.
Yeah, he's animated on the mound. He's animated in the clubhouse. I'm a little concerned he keeps kind of bending his neck and moving his arms back. I wonder if his upper back might be a little tight.
Corey Brown batting now, bases loaded. Willis misses down and away. Here's the strike. For his career, left-handers have batted an even 200. One is outside, ball 2. You'd like to see him with a little bit better command, but you can understand why he wouldn't have it in this game, because he hasn't been in a game for so long.
Right.
Cold foul sharply. Went to the picnic area. You got to be careful in the stands here with these foul balls, because the fans are so close to the action. They're great seats.
Yeah, you're never safe down here. You're never safe anywhere in a baseball field.
2-2 is hit to second, could be 2. Andino, Manny Machado back to first, and safe at first base. Is the hustling Corey Brown. So a run does score, and the inning continues. Willis came that close to getting out of it.
Pretty close play there at first base. Dino gives it up to Machado. Machado with a strong arm, but yeah, he was getting down there pretty quick.
So Corey Brown, who will be in the minor leagues for the Nats this year, trying to impress Davey Johnson. Getting a start today, and he hustles down to first, picks up an RBI and a ground out. And a smile to boot. Here's Brett Carroll playing in right field today. And hit towards third. There's Reynolds, gets an in-between hop, throws low and safe at first base as Davis couldn't keep his foot on. So Reynolds with a throwing error, run scores, and the inning continues.
Yeah, a little bit surprised right there that Mark just didn't make that play to second base. Got himself in a great position, and he's kind of moving to his left. And the play's right in front of him. I mean, that's an easier play to go to second.
And Dontrell still with his neck. Christopher Rawl is now at first base. He's running for Brett Carroll. It's only the second error on the spring committed by Mark Reynolds. There's a strike.
I think we may have jinxed him talking about his fielding prowess this spring, but he has put in the time and working hard at it.
Well, the field level replay that you just saw, it looked to me that he short-armed it. It didn't look like he followed through. The footwork looked okay, but it looked like his arm didn't go all the way through, and that's why it bounced.
Yeah, you wonder a little bit. Maybe he was like halfway thinking, man, I should have gone to second as he's about to release the ball. Not quite committed to that throw across the diamond.
Chopper foul. Willis began the inning by walking 3 in a row. 2 have now scored. Orioles couldn't turn 2 to end the inning. A run scored on that. And another coming in on the error. It's 11-3 Orioles here in the 6th inning. And a high pop-up. Shallow center. Here comes Jones. Machado there. The veteran calls him off. The rookie gets out of the way, and Adam has it. The 2 runs in mid-6th in Sarasota. Birds lead at 11-3.
struck at first. Growing up there, everyone talks about Mike Bordick back home. So to be able to learn from him, and I never told him this, but it was a special moment to be able to meet him, and obviously what he did defensively in the big leagues over his career is just something. If you can sit there in the dugout and get 5 minutes to talk to him, you can probably learn something in that 5 minutes.
So Ryan Flaherty, who is the pride of Portland, Maine, talking about the other pride of the state of Maine, Mike Bordick. Ryan told us that when he was a little boy, he used to watch you play and looked up to him. How about that, though?
That's pretty flattering. He's a really good kid, and I owe him about $20 for saying that. But this is a well-grounded kid. He came from a great baseball family. His dad coaches at the University of Southern Maine. Has been a head coach there for a number of years now, and played at the University of Maine. And so Ryan, he was well taught along the way, and then went and played at a great program in Vanderbilt. He's got a great opportunity here in Baltimore. If he makes his club, obviously coming over as a Rule 5 from Chicago Cubs, and he's put himself in a great position. He's had a great spring. He's been proving his versatility and getting some big hits along the way as well.
2-1 on Betemit as Gorzolani comes on. That's bounced towards the hole. Fielded there by Blanco. The long throw gets beyond the first baseman and into the stands. So that'll be a base hit and an error as Newsom couldn't come up with it.
Betemit picks up another hit. That'll be 14 hits today. Where the Orioles over the last 3 games have got 41 hits. Tim Presley's got to be pretty pleased with that. We're talking about looking for that feel or wanting that feel, getting out of spring training. Well, there's a lot of guys right now that are feeling pretty good.
So Betemit on at second base. There's the new catcher, and that is Carlos Maldonado. Christopher Rawl is now in right field. He pinch ran. And the center fielder is Michael Taylor. So multiple changes by Davey Johnson. Beerer will pinch run for Betemit at second base as Adam Jones bats. Adams had a big day. And there's a strike. I believe the scorer on his at-bat in the 4th inning called it a hit, then an error on the throw.
Must have, right?
So Adam has a 3-hit day. There was one extra hit out there, and that's got to be the one. Working on his bunt, gets it down. Maldonado turns and gets it to first. Well, that'll go as a sacrifice. Adam just working on that.
Yeah, I think in the regular season, if the score is 11-3, you're probably not going to see that type of play unless you're playing against the Yankees or the Red Sox, when you have to keep adding runs because you never know what their potent offense. But that's just another part of Adam Jones' game that is so good. He's obviously got the power potential. He hit over 280 last year, and he's continued to get better in that department. But that bunt game, to keep that infield honest, and if you can draw him in a little bit more, you can slap some hits by him.
Matt Wieters goes to right field. That falls for a base hit. Beerer coming towards the plate. He'll score. And what a day for Matt Wieters. A 6 RBI afternoon.
A great day. And now from the right side, taking that pitch middle away and driving it the other way. Not trying to do too much with it. Perfect approach right there by Matt Wieters.
And Wieters' day will be done as Matt Antonelli is going to come on and pinch run. So Wieters with a 6 RBI game.
That's a pretty good day. 6 RBIs. Sometimes it took me a month to get 6 RBIs.
Mark Reynolds takes outside. The The Orioles now have 12 runs on 15 hits, and they have more than taken advantage of 3 Nationals errors. Boy, did that pitch have movement.
Yeah, it did. It's tough to sneak a fastball by Reynolds, especially early in the count. And that one just looked like it cut right in under his hands.
Takes on the outside corner, thought it was outside. And 1-2 the count. Rosalani, the third pitcher used by the Nats. And Reynolds down on strikes. And the second out of the inning. First strikeout for Rosalani.
This looks like the same pitch that he threw earlier in the count, and he went right back at it. Got him to swing over the top of it.
Chris Davis has had a tough day. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Rosalani gets ahead. Buck Showalter was talking yesterday about the eventual 25-man roster, and there's still several decisions that have to be made. They have to settle on a 5-man rotation, and we showed you 9 are fighting for those 5 spots, and that doesn't even include Wada, who has not made a start in an A game yet because the elbow kept him back. He is pitching, and he is certainly in the mix, but he hasn't been in a game yet. Broken bat bloop to center field, and that'll fall for a hit. So Davis is on, and 2 on with 2 down. So you have 9 and/or 10 fighting for 5 there. Then you have 29 different relievers fighting for 7 spots. Then you have the bench players.
Yeah, this camp is full of competition. Pitcher, infielder, outfielder. It doesn't matter.
There's Jonathan Scope, one of the Orioles' top prospects, brought over from the minor league camp today. So he'll pinch run, stay in the game. But Buck was saying that when the Orioles leave here 2 days before opening day on that Wednesday, the Orioles will leave Sarasota in the morning. They'll break camp that morning. They'll fly to Norfolk, get off the plane, play an exhibition game against the AAA Tide, get back on the plane, and then fly to Baltimore. The 25-man roster for opening day, Buck says, has to be set by 5 o'clock that day when they play in Norfolk. So as they get on the plane to go there, since it has to be set by that day, it probably will be set before they get there, but you don't know.
Right, you don't know.
They might take 3 extra guys who are the bubble guys and then make up their minds, the final decision, and then the roster sent to the commissioner's office.
Yeah, and a lot can happen here in the next week and a half as well. You know, I mean, you certainly don't want to wish anybody to get hurt, but it just seems like things have a tendency to work their way out as spring training nears the end. I mean, you kind of hope there is a tough decision or two to be made, because that means that multiple people have done a good enough job to earn a spot on the big league team.
0-2 on Reimold. 2 on and 2 out. And a good take outside. There's that batting eye of Reimold, who homered his last at-bat and got all of them.
That was a great swing by Nolan, and that's the potential you talk about. You know, that year he had back in 09 when he hit 15 home runs and had that on-base percentage of .365. I mean, we've been waiting for that. He was, you know, struck with some Achilles injury, and we just hope that this year he can return to that form.
Now, Reimold called out on strikes. That ends the inning. The Birds get another run. It's Military Day in Sarasota. hope you can join us next Sunday. That's April 1st for the Orioles' final tune-up before heading north for opening day. As the O's that day will take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Our coverage on MASN HD begins at 1 o'clock, and O's Extra will join you at 12:30 that day, unveiling that brand new high-definition studio. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN. And we also have numerous changes, including Darren O'Day coming on for the Birds, as he will take over and pitch here in the 7th. Here's Hester now in the game. He's behind the plate as Wieters' day is done. Jeff Larish is now at first base. Jonathan Scope is now the second baseman, as Jonathan came on to pinch run, stays in the game. Matt Antonelli came on to pinch run. He's now in the game at third. Trent Mummy is in left field. The new center fielder is Johnny Rudiger. There he is. And Glenn Davis is the new right fielder. So the minor leaguers brought over, getting a chance. And here is Andres Blanco, who ran for Ian Desmond and stayed in the game, getting his first at-bat. And O'Day gets ahead with a strike.
O'Day's one of the guys fighting for that bullpen spot, another bullpen spot. You know, he's had a pretty good spring. And, you know, what he offers is just something a little bit funky, you know, with that delivery.
Foul ball the other way.
That deception, which makes it tough on hitters.
Interesting delivery. When he went to the University of Florida, he wanted to play college baseball, and he didn't make the team. At that time, he threw traditional overhead. And he taught himself this delivery, and it was so effective that when he went back as a reliever, he made the team and then eventually got drafted and made it to the major leagues.
Great story.
And he taught himself how to do it. He's 0-2 on Blanco. And a pop up to shallow left. Mummy in on it. And he's got it for the out, one down. Darren's brother is an expert athletic trainer and works quite a bit with track and field athletes. And he worked with him the year that he didn't make the team, leading up to the year he did make the team, and got him in better shape. And he taught him how important the legs are. And I know you, as a former player, certainly knew all about that, how important the legs are.
It's critical in this game, and especially for a pitcher. I mean, if you need that endurance and stamina. I mean, as soon as your legs go pitching, your mechanics falter, and that could lead to injuries and you know, obviously longer innings. I mean, you want to stay in there as long as possible, but leg strength is critical for a pitcher.
Over but low as Adrian Sanchez bats for a first time. He pitch ran for Espinoza in the 5th inning. Or took over for Espinoza, who made the final out of the 5th inning. Breaking ball bends in there. So Dontrell Willis makes his Orioles debut. He goes 1 inning, allows 2 runs, 1 earned. Did not allow a hit, but he walked 3 and 2 of them scored. Reach for, hit towards center field. There comes Rudiger. And he runs it down. 2 men down. The wind was playing with that one.
Yeah, tough play by Rudiger. He, you know, he's shown some good speed here the last few games, but that's a tougher play than people think when you have to dive straight on for a ball and catch it in front of your face. A nice play by Rudiger.
So Day retires the first 2. Rudiger was just drafted last June in the 8th round, so already this is his first spring training as a pro, and he's getting some time in the big league tent.
Yeah, he's impressed. He impressed us last year in instructional league. You know, he plays the game hard. He's a smart player, and he's getting an opportunity to show Buck and his staff what he can do here in spring training.
Michael Taylor can't check his swing. That's a strike, and it's 0-2.
You know, it's guys like Rudiger. You know, he's a higher pick, 8th round, and you know, he played college ball, so he's older. These are the kind of guys you can move along. You know, they're smart, they're disciplined, they've gone through a college program. You know, they're strong enough to endure longer seasons. So I say give those guys more of an opportunity to play at a higher level, like high A or double A even for Rudiger.
Yeah, he played at Arizona State, certainly a real good program in the Pac-10.
Definitely.
Which I think now has about 14 schools. 1-2 the count on Taylor. And it's outside 2-2. Well, I guess, and you certainly would know better than I because you've done a lot of work in the Orioles minor leagues, but isn't it, when John Stockstill and Dan Duquette sit down and they try to figure out, well, who's going where in the minor leagues, isn't it to maximize the at-bats and the defensive positions?
Oh, yeah. It is, but, you have to look at it differently when you draft a college player as opposed to a high school kid that isn't used to the, long season. I mean, they're going to take it easy on Dylan Bundy this summer. You'd love for that guy to be up here right now. I mean, he's got that quality of stuff. But players like Machado and Scope as well, they're 18, 19 years old. You don't expect them to play a 140-game season.
So the strikeout of Taylor, good inning for O'Day. 3 up, 3 down. 7th inning stretch in Sarasota with the Birds in front. At Smith Stadium, great day for Jake Arrieta. Went 5 strong innings. Orioles had the bats going as well with 16 base hits, including a Matt Wieters 3-run home run. Dontrell Willis is making his debut for the Orioles today. Almost turned to double play, and yes, it is a friendly rivalry between the Nationals and the Orioles. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, and the Orioles enjoying 12 runs on 16 hits. And the Nationals with 4 errors in this game.
Yeah, we've definitely been able to capitalize on some of those miscues, and it's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, this is Major League Baseball. Obviously, you want to play as clean as possible. When mistakes are made, good teams, take advantage and capitalize on those situations. So, the Orioles have to limit those opportunities, and when they get opportunities, take advantage of them.
Well, don't forget, this season is the 20th anniversary of Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The ballpark forever changed baseball, no doubt about it. And to celebrate the occasion, the Orioles have launched a new website, CamdenYards20.com, where you can relive some of the greatest moments in Oriole Park history, go behind the scenes, track every Utah Street home run, and count down the top 20 Camden Yards Classic games. Visit CamdenYards20.com today. April 6th will be opening day on Friday afternoon, 2 weeks from yesterday. And the Oriole Bird having some fun. Here's Hester, who will lead off. John Hester came on in place of Wieters. He's in Andino's spot in the lineup.
With Taylor Teagardner still a little bit banged up, John Hester's got an opportunity to possibly break with the team as well. He's done a pretty good job of working with the pitchers.
Hester was the other player that the Orioles got in the trade with Arizona that brought Mark Reynolds here. There was a player to be named in that deal that became Hester. There's a bouncer to second, squibbed that way, fielded there by Sanchez, and one away. David Hernandez and Cam Michelaya went to Arizona, and Reynolds immediately came to the Orioles, and then Hester finally was the player to be named, and he joined the team last year and played at AAA Norfolk. Trent Mummy will now bat. Mummy over from the minor league camp. You know, the other thing that you hope for if you're the Orioles this year is that the prospects that they believe have a chance to be good players or develop into good players is that they stay healthy. And Trent Mummy is certainly one of those players. Last year he played in only 29 games combined between Delmarva and Frederick.
Yeah, he had a rough season injury-wise last year, but there's potential there. He's another college pick, and he played down in the SEC. So he's been exposed to really great baseball, and I know he was frustrated at the end of the year. Did you hear how he got hurt one time? He was in Frederick. He dove for a ball out in left center field. His foot never touched the warning track. He dove over the warning track and went headfirst into the outfield wall. Gave himself a concussion. They thought it was a lot worse than it was, but he missed a lot of time with that. Then he ended up pulling a hamstring.
Gets into this one to right field. That ball's got a chance. Will the wind knock it down? Yes, it will. Rahl is there and doesn't even reach the warning track. Sounded good off the bat. And it's a fly ball out and 2 away. Not a good idea to hit one in the air that high to right field today.
No, that wind's beating it down for sure. He did hit that ball really well, though.
And here's Manny Machado batting for the first time. First ball swinging. Manny now in his second full pro season. Just 19 years old.
Helped lead the Frederick Keys to a championship last year.
Wayne Kirby's got the moves. Bragging about it, it looks like.
Yeah, them dance steps, the Wayne Kirby dance steps down there. The other day when he dove on a changeup that was coming at him, that wasn't a very good dance step.
No, not on a changeup. Machado fights it off to stay alive. Newsom can't reach it. Just 19 years old. Number 1 pick a couple of years ago, and then last year the Birds got Dylan Bundy in the first round. But Showalter's been very impressed the way that Machado has handled himself in this camp. When he's had the opportunity to play, he's played as well as he can, and he's pretty good. And in the clubhouse, he's just observing. And he waves at that pitch. That's a good breaking ball by Gorzolani, and Machado down on strikes. Orioles go 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the 8th in Sarasota. still have to make as they get closer to opening day, which of the pitchers will be the 7-man bullpen. Here's what's gone on here. 29 different pitchers have pitched in relief in this camp, and that's in just the 8 games. That doesn't count minor league games and B games. Last year, the bullpen's ERA 13th in the 14-team American League, 4.18, and the 32 saves tied for fewest in the American League. So the depth that Dan Duquette has brought in, Rick Adair and Buck Showalter now working with that depth. 29 will become 7, which means there's even more competition there than there is for the starting 5.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And who's to say that one of those starting 5 doesn't slide into the bullpen? I know they're looking for a long guy out of the pen right now, and it might potentially be one of the starters. So even more competition on that end.
Brad Bergeson has worked only in relief in this camp. He's pitched very well out of the bullpen. As Luis Ayala comes on, Ayala almost a certainty to make the bullpen. And he has had a real good camp. 34-year-old veteran out of Mexico. Last year, pitched for the Yankees in 52 games, pitched to an ERA of 2.09.
I know. How could the Yankees let that guy go, right? Pitching up there at Yankee Stadium with those kind of numbers.
Maybe they couldn't afford him.
Maybe they're just loaded again.
Brett Newsom will face Ayala. He misses high.
Well, it's kind of funny when you look at, you know, some of the teams, obviously like the Yankees and the Red Sox, and you talk about their so-called what-if players. Their what-if players are like Andy Pettitte and Chavez. You know, these players that they can use as insurance policies and give them $2 million just to kind of be there just in case. Well, you know, it's a little bit different than our what-if players.
Well, it is a curiosity because it isn't as if he pitched poorly. Although there are some in baseball that believe that relievers are too unpredictable, that maybe if they have a brilliant year, that a tough year is about to follow. He's pitched very well in this camp.
He has.
Carlos Maldonado is batting for the first time. And Ayala had a tough start to the camp because when he arrived here in Florida, because we've been talking about the mild early spring at home in Baltimore. As a result, it's been even milder here. And he's had a tough time with those springtime allergies. Welcome right back to Ayala, who ignores the bat. And 2 men down here in the 8th inning. Well, get suited up for the new season. The official online shop of the Orioles. You can browse the largest selection of authentic Orioles gear, including the new 2012 Cartoon Bird home and away authentic caps, clubhouse t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. It's set for 2012 right there at the official source, the Orioles.com shop. And 2 down. And Ayala retires the first 2.
Pitchers like Ayala, they live for those broken bats. You know, not as much the strikeouts, but when a bat head goes flying by, when they know they buzz that sinker in there hard, they feel good about that. That's like a hitter hitting a home run.
Here's a bouncer toward short. Machado waits on the hop, plants, fires, and he got him. Some footwork there by Laris. So Ayala has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the 8th coming. The Birds in front. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. Here from the tunnel coming in right behind home plate. It's a beautiful stadium, Ed Smith Stadium. Orioles enjoying a 12-3 lead, and here is Henry Rodriguez coming on. If you like the challenge of facing a good power pitcher, here's your guy.
Yeah, I talked to their pitching coach, Steve McCatty, earlier today, and he said this guy has just been so impressive. He's had command, which he's had command issues in the past. Still throws hard, and yeah, this guy has impressed him more than anybody in camp, he said.
The Orioles have seen him in the interleague games. And that's got him from Oakland. The problem in his career has been harnessing that good power fastball.
Well, you know, like so many pitchers that are power pitchers, and we talked about that with Jake Arrieta. I mean, you don't necessarily have to throw 97 to get guys out. You can throw 94 with location. You know, tone it down a notch, not try so hard, and you know, I think that's what's happened with him this spring. Even though that was 98 miles an hour, maybe he's used to throwing 102. You know.
Scott Beer batting for the first time. He's in the number 3 spot in the lineup, vacated by Betamit. It'll be Beer, Rudiger, and Antonelli in this 8th inning for the Orioles. As Beer fouls it off.
And that pitch was 100 miles an hour. That is some cheese, baby. Ooh.
He is a weapon when he throws strikes. Hangs a breaking ball, fly ball to left field. Back on it is Brown, and he runs it down for the out.
I always get a kick out of guys that, you know, that do throw in the high 90s, 100 miles an hour every now and then. Why even throw a breaking ball? Make a mistake with that and hang it, it's going to get punished.
Here's Rudiger, who has not yet batted. From Joliet, Illinois. You think he's a fan of the Blues Brothers?
Yeah, I believe he is.
Okay, good. Well, you know, you're down there with him.
Yeah.
You got all that inside info.
Well, that's where, yeah, they have that prison, right?
Well, Joliet Jake.
Right.
The Blues Brothers.
Definitely.
Appreciate you paying attention. See, these are the things I'm trying to draw out of you because you're down there in the clubhouse, and I'm not allowed in there.
To be honest with you, that's never come up, but I'm sure he is.
Note to self, tomorrow at practice, find out if he likes the Blues Brothers. Off the end of the bat, shallow center. This ball's troubled. And a diving attempt by Taylor, but he can't come up with it, and Rudiger hustles into second base. And that'll get him some points from Buck Showalter.
No doubt about it. And that's what, you know, he's done ever since he's come over here. He's been played in like 3 or 4 games, maybe more than that. And every time he does something like this to show that, you know, he's into the game, he's hustling. You know, and that's what it's all about. And that's the kind of stuff Buck Showalter wants to see from younger players. Do they play the game hard and do they play it right?
So Rudiger with a double. He legged it out on the bloop. Matt Antonelli will bat for the first time. And there's an off-speed pitch of some kind. Floats in there for a strike. Matt Antonelli, one of the 3 that are the three trying to get that utility man job. He will turn 27 on April 8th, which is the third day of the regular season. Last year, he was property of the Nationals and played 86 games at AAA Syracuse. Playing here today against his former team.
Former first-round pick, the Padres, right?
Yep. Well, 2-1 the count as Rodriguez misses low.
Obviously a very talented player to be a first-round pick, but you know what I like about him? He was a great athlete in high school. He was all-state in 3 sports, and came from a great athletic area there right around Boston. So it showed up here in spring training, his versatility and his talent. So even if he doesn't make our team, he makes our organization stronger. Creating some depth, because I know Buck Showalter trusts guys like Antonelli, trusts guys like Tolleson and Flaherty. If something did happen to a player in the big leagues, to call on them to come up and do the job. He trusts them.
Strike 3 called as Rodriguez broke off a breaking ball there. Of course, against Rodriguez, you got to look for a fastball, and Antonelli didn't get it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good pitch. Great location. Might have been a little down.
Nice framing by Maldonado. So 2 down with Rudiger at second, and here's Glenn Davis getting his first at-bat. Bounces it to third, backhanded there by Josh Johnson. Fires across, showing off that arm, and the inning ends. So 1 out double and 1 left. We will head to the 9th. The Orioles in front. Is brought to you by Sarasota. There's so much to see and do in Sarasota on Florida's Gulf Coast. Go beyond the stadium to the #1 beach in the USA. Visit number1beach.com. And as you can see, a breezy day here in Florida. Mid-80s again. It's been just a gorgeous week here. The Orioles today are playing their 4th home game in the last 5 days. And like Bordick last night, borrowed that boat. And oh my goodness, you need to work on that parking there, Bordy.
Yeah, well, it was rough seas. I shouldn't have been out. I shouldn't have been out there anyway.
I thought the Gulf was calmer.
Yeah, well.
Or so did you.
Too much time at the daiquiri deck.
Oh boy. Corey Brown has played the whole way. So Matt Lindstrom comes on to try to record the final 3 outs. O'Day had a 3-up, 3-down 7th. Ayala a 3-up, 3-down 8th. pitching there for a strike. Lindstrom came over in the trade with Jason Hamill for Jeremy Guthrie from Colorado. High pop-up. That ball's playable. Mummy over towards the line. The ball stays fair, and he's got it for the out. 1 down. Lindstrom has closer experience. Unlikely he'll fill that role on this team. He had 15 saves for the Marlins in 2009, and then after being dealt over to Houston, he had 23 saves in 2010 for the Astros. He has a real good arm, power arm. The Orioles are his 4th major league team, and that's over the last 4 years.
Right.
So there's 2 ways to look at that. Teams don't hold on to him. However, some other team always covets that he has that power arm.
Exactly. Well, you know, I think showing that he could be a closer or has done it before obviously shows that he's got some versatility, but finding the right role for him is going to be key. Because he throws 97, 98 miles an hour, got a nice breaking ball. I just don't know about his length. I mean, how many innings are you going to use him? Maybe 1 or 2 innings, 6th or 7th inning.
Going 2 on Christopher Rahl, batting for the first time, and he got him. Good breaking ball. So Lindstrom gets ahead of the young hitter and goes right at him and gets him.
Yeah, well, he threw a 96-mile-an-hour fastball just before this pitch, and that's filthy. Obviously, the hitter has to kind of gear up for the heat, and he throws a great breaking ball. Keep him off balance, and the guy was chasing.
Josh Johnson bounces it to second. This should do it. Schoop will get it to first, and Lindstrom comes on and pitches a 3-up, 3-down ninth, and the Orioles win it by the final of 12-3. So tremendous job by the final 3 relievers, O'Day, Ayala, and Lindstrom, all expected to be on this team, or hopeful to be on this team. They retire 9 in a row as the Orioles pull it out.